The most important question I ever got was, what is your legacy? Not a material legacy, but if life stops here, how do you want to be remembered? What is that energy? How do people see you? This podcast series is a result of that question, what is my legacy? A phoenix is burning itself on a funeral pyre and rising from the ashes with renewed youth to live through another cycle. This fertile ash is filled with phoenix frequencies of compassion, love, forgiveness, intuition, wisdom, generosity, resilience, creativity, an evolution and involution. I've been in the ashes. I give voice to my phoenix. I share how I pioneer with ease. That's a lifestyle, a choice. I'm Nienke van Bezooyen, and I welcome you to listen and invite you to rise. Welcome to the Phoenix Frequencies. Recently, at a board meeting of the Park-Anglomi Association, we looked at a big pile of tasks we face as a new board. We all volunteer from our heart, but we also know firsthand we have to be conscious of how much we take on our plate. So we asked each other, can you also say no to a task? Can you keep your healthy boundaries? Some of us take a lot because we have an expertise around it, but it sparked the topic I want to share today. If there is a lot at stake, can I say no? Or haven't I outgrown my Labrador syndrome? Most people get along with Labradors. You throw a ball and with a happy face and a whisking tail, they apport back, waiting for the next ball to be thrown. They're eager to learn and sometimes a bit boisterous or clumsy, but loving and love to be loved. But also a breed that tends to overeat to comfort themselves, without boundaries. And how about the human Labrador? The pleasing kind that gets coffee for all. The grandma is always willing to do all for the grandchildren, sacrificing time and effort, whisking their human tail because they can have a new or continuing fulfillment in their life. The person in the team always winning to finish late because there is a deadline in their head. The I can do that nature can turn around and create a burnout and disappointment because they're taken for granted. If the willingness to do more than others can take a toll and flip the coin. Labradors love teamwork with their boss. If you throw a ball, I bring it back and we both have fun. That's why they can be an excellent support dog for disabled people. They like the exchange, but also because they are trained to know the difference between work time and off time. Human Labradors have often difficulty with that. Grandchildren can always go to their grandparents. The agenda be constantly filled even when they had other plans. Even if the parents have time themselves. The team members with children get other liabilities than the ones without, for example, choosing holiday times. We create a hierarchy in a social interaction with the human Labrador can struggle in saying no. They flourish from an extra compliment, usually saying something like, oh, no, it's fine, I'm happy to do so. But what if the feedback is less positive? Humans with the Labrador syndrome, getting negative feedback, barely speak up for themselves. They just feel heard, not valued, and they can go in two directions. Trying to find peer support in victim groups or non-directive complaining, gossip. Or they leave and they try to find a new environment where they don't get critiqued. Although it looks like pleasing and serving, in a way it's a dominating style for the Labradors, the human Labradors, to feel safe. For a while, I collaborated with people in Asia, and I faced a difference in culture, because what we Westerns experience as pleasing can be seen in their world as polite. So it's good to understand the difference. For example, my colleague who grew up in Europe, having a struggle with Japanese in conversations. Because we Westerns like to keep the conversation going, thinking that's polite. But my friend in Japan faced that the hard way, because she was really getting annoyed because her Japanese colleagues stayed quiet all the time until she asked why. They were happy to speak, but only pleasing her to stay silent, respecting her speaking time. As soon as she created space for them to speak and interact in a way that worked for them, the conversation shifted. Or the colleague whom I thought I had encouraged to collaborate based on equality. That wasn't the culture either. She just loved pleasing as her nature. But the psyche of the human Labrador has another layer. It's an expression of trauma and a blockage for post-traumatic growth. Most of us know the trauma response from the brain, the fight, flight and freeze response. There's another getting more known about. It's the fawn response. You can see it acting in the pleasers mode. That's for another podcast, because if we can create post-traumatic growth and stop pleasing, start collaborating from our true selves, then we can sustain ourselves to thrive, not by only a happy face and a whisking human tail. We can make a choice when to work and when to step out of it, because it's wise, it's not pleasing, sacrificing ourselves. So if you want to say yes to a task and it costs a lot of energy, pause and start over. And just look under the hood of your inner motor where your response comes from. Just pause and see if you are loyal to controlling the outcome, or is there something else? Because you might be confusing yourself with a Labrador.